It's 1, 2, 3, 20 days to the kickoff of the 2020 FIFA World Cup. Welcome to our daily countdown to the tournament. My name is Oluwafemi Ashaolu. It is Nigeria Superfans Forum. And today, of course, we'll begin in Ghana, where a former scribe of the GFA has advised the GFA to delay the release of the provisional list or even the final list. He's saying the tactic to deceive or maybe to surprise the opponent. So we'll discuss on the show whether that works in modern football or not. And of course, Morocco will be in focus where, of course, Yusuf Nesri, of course, who is supposed to be maybe the key man for the Atlas Lions at this tournament, is not doing well. So Ziyech and, of course, we're talking about Bofar, we'll be looking at those two guys because they will be key for the Atlas Lions at this tournament. Once again, I welcome you to our daily countdown. James Agberebi is in the studio. James, you're welcome.
Thank you, Femi.
We are much more in the mood now.
Yes.
You could feel the air. The World Cup is here.
Yeah.
Okay, let's begin in Ghana, James, where this a member of the, of course, a former member of the GFA has said that the GFA should maybe perhaps delay the release of either the provisional list or even the final list, that sometimes it is an element of surprise to the opponent. Do you think that works in modern football? Remember, they did it against the Super Eagles of Nigeria during the playoff, and we can say to some extent whether it worked or not, because at least they eventually qualified, there was an element of surprise. But in going to a proper tournament, a world-class tournament like a World Cup, does that work?
It doesn't work. I mean, the thing is, the opponents Ghana will face, they just think they don't know most of the Ghanaian players, or they think they don't monitor them. I think you have an idea of the players that will make the final list, judging by their friendly games. I mean, you've seen some of the guys who you feel will be at the World Cup. They played against Brazil, they played against Nicaragua, and when the time they play against Switzerland, I mean, you have an idea. You will know that these are the guys who will be at the World Cup, you know. So, for me, it's trying to trick your opponent. I don't know why you're going to trick. I mean, just the most important thing is just get the good preparation, let the players be in the right frame of mind, their feet, no injury worries. I mean, that's what you should be focusing on, not trying to trick your opponent by delaying your team list. At some point, you're still going to release it. Whether you release it one day before your game.
And we can guess who is going to be there.
Yes, we know the key guys that will be there. They know your players.
Like Portugal, they've released their own provisional list.
What are you trying to hide? I mean.
So I think by now, maybe the GFA or even Otto Addo should have put out that of the Black Stars.
Yeah, I believe that they have an idea of the squad already. You know, bearing injuries.
Though there's been reports that we have people like Afri, the out of folk player in that list, and we've heard that gospel singer Sonny Badu was campaigning that Afri should be on that list. So we can actually tell one or two persons that will be on that list.
We have an idea. You want to tell me that somebody like, I will not know that party will be in the squad, or the the Ayu brothers,
or people like Mohamed Kudus.
I mean, we all know that these are the backbone of the team. You know? So why are you trying to hide?
Okay.
You know? So for me, the most important thing is this team should have good preparation, and the right things are put in place. Then forget about this trying to hide team list and what have you.
Okay, especially now that the money issue is almost being taken care of by the GFA. Remember yesterday we said that a member of the executive council of the GFA revealed that the money issue has been presented to the finance ministry, and of course he said that it has been accepted, though the amount wasn't reviewed. But this former Ghanaian FA communication director, Ibrahim Sani Dara, is saying that World Cup has, world football, I meant to say, world football has changed completely. And I agree with the point that sometimes you should trick your opponent a bit. As part of it, I will agree with the thought we should not make public our full squad to anybody until the World Cup, when we are able to pull surprises. Of course, that is according to Just Sports Link. He said, if it is, we want to please fans as they want to know what the squad looks like. Fans should also understand that the World Cup is a big deal.
I still stand on my thoughts and opinion. I mean, even though you're going to surprise, are you going to surprise all your group opponents? You know, so
And you want to leave them guessing, as in just guess.
see, look, just focus, like I said, and I will keep on saying it. The most important thing is how prepared the team is for the tournament. So all this idea of you're trying to you want to spring surprises, you want to trick your opponent, and you don't need all that. Just put all the right thing in place and get work going, and you see a better, good performance. For me, I don't buy this idea of you want to hide your, you want to hide your. For who? I mean, like I said, they have an idea of your players. They know the backbone of the team. So just when the time is right, just come up with the list and let's move on to the next issue.
Okay, so James is saying that method is totally, maybe you can say it's totally archaic, also to say. Maybe that used to work when you play street football, but no longer when you're playing the World Cup. Okay, James, let's take a trip to North America. North Africa, I meant to say, thank you, North Africa, where, of course, Morocco is in focus. Their best performance at the World Cup was 1986 when they got to round of 16. Yeah. And since then, it's been the regular
group stage.
Yeah. Now, Yusuf Enesri will have been the key man for the Atlas Lions, but now it seems it has shifted because you have Ashraf Hakimi will be a major focus, as well as Buffon. We saw what he did with Southampton years ago in the Premier League when he won goal of the season. Then for Hakim Ziyech particularly, it's not been very good for him this season. We remember the issue he had with the former coach, and that is Ali Odzic. When he said as long as he is in charge, he will not play for the club until he was fired. Now, it's going to be very dicey for Morocco, but will Hakim Ziyech and, of course, I meant to say Buffon and Hakimi, would they be able to? Those are Bono, of course, the Sevilla goalkeeper is a world-class goalkeeper. But what is the prospect for the Atlas Lions in this tournament, James?
Well, Hakimi plays for one of the biggest teams in Europe now, PSG. And he's a regular, so you want your best players to be competitive in their club side, and he has been doing well for PSG so far. For Ziyech, he has been struggling, and when he learned he could be sold. He could be pushed out of Chelsea.
We heard that Milan are interested.
In the January transfer window. Bono, the goalkeeper, he's been a regular for Sevilla for
many years. For years now.
You show that he's someone that has the experience, So with me, aside from these guys, I know that there will be players coming from the Wydad clubs, the major club size in Morocco, So the most important thing is for these guys to come together and hopefully they'll be able to, gel at the World Cup. I'm just so scared for Ziyech because he has not been doing too well for Chelsea. He's not even a regular, So they hardly even look at his direction, So I think that's one of.
And even despite that, I'm sure he will still be named in the final squad for Morocco.
He's a very good player, but just that things have not been going too well for him at Chelsea. So for Morocco, I don't know. The World Cup, this is another opportunity for them to better their previous performances. They've not really done too well at in the last edition. They crashed out in the first stage. They finished bottom of their group. And the only World Cup they came to close to qualifying for the round of 16 was 1998. Well, the defeat Brazil suffered against Norway.
I remember their 3-0 win over Scotland.
Over Scotland,
yeah. I know Mustafa Hadji did brilliantly in that game.
Exactly, so that was a big opportunity for them to qualify, but Brazil lost to Norway, and that made Morocco to crash out of a very painful defeat. So we look forward to this current squad. They have exciting players who can hold their own, and just hope that they will be able to pick. And the guys who have been struggling for fitness, they will be able to, make it up when the World Cup proper starts, and hopefully they will be able to do well for Africa.
But again, James, that as we round up now, that again reminds me that the chances of African teams in this tournament is very bleak. Why? I remember Okocha said Senegal and Morocco looks like the two teams that might possibly qualify from their group. But when you now have the key players like Ziyech, as we know how important he would be, or he would have been for the Atlas Lions if he's on top of his game right now.
Yeah.
Now, so that means it will only be Hakimi, Bono, Bufa, and of course, he himself will have been, okay, let's even say Yusuf Nesri that's not doing well, might get to the World Cup and begins to but when you look at, you can't compare to a team like Senegal, where you can mention like, you can keep mentioning all these players and they play well week in, week out. PSG, Bayern, they play for Chelsea, play for, they're everywhere, play for Everton.
Yeah.
So that tells me that African chances, if you really put it on paper, might just be as tiny as anything.
Well, don't let us just rule them out yet. The World Cup, as we are coming out with all their weaknesses, even their opponents too, who knows what's happening with them. They might get to the World Cup and fizzle out, and maybe the African team will not capitalize. Like I said, the most important thing for the key guys to be informed, and so if they get in the right frame of mind and good preparation, I believe they will to do well. It's not as if they are going as debutants. They've been to the World Cup before, and they've been getting tips from players who have been to the World Cup before.
For most of these players, the string of these players that we have now, this is their first major World Cup outing.
For Morocco, I think Ziyech
for most of them.
Most of them, yeah. Sometimes these things will happen, but sometimes you have to start from somewhere.
They are not even as experienced as the Senegal. I think the Senegalese team will be the most experienced of the African teams going to this World Cup. Because you can't say Ghana, most of them, maybe if you remove the Ayew brothers.
Who are looking up to have never played that.
Yeah, so if you remove the Ayew brothers.
Like I said, you have to start from somewhere, So let's just hope that it will click when the main thing happens and we have good representation at the World Cup.
Okay, James Agberibi, thank you for coming through on the show.
It's a pleasure.
Okay, so since they said that the only thing Africa or Africans do better than other parts of the world is to pray, I think we need to continue to pray. Yeah, so that the time that the continent will lift the World Cup will not be as far as it gets. Remember, because in 2010 we thought, okay, it's coming to Africa, or it came to Africa, and maybe it could be the time. But unfortunately, it was not the story that we desire. So please continue to watch out for our daily countdown. Tomorrow will be 19 days to the kickoff of that 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. I know that by now, of course, national teams, or by next week, so to say, national teams will be, of course, they will be releasing their provisional list. So we'll have much more to bite on the show. Until tomorrow, I remain Olafemi Ashaolu. Continue to ensure that you support your national team, especially the Black Stars, so that, of course, 2022 World Cup will be a different story entirely. Until tomorrow, bye for now.